Now to news of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who began his two-day trip to Bhutan this morning, a move that's being seen as an attempt to reboot ties with one of India's closest partners. Many also see it as a signal to China to keep in mind Delhi's sphere of influence. These are live visuals right now. The two prime ministers of the country sitting down for a meeting that is sharing Sobge. Beg your pardon for that little glitch over there. But this was the Prime Minister arriving in Bhutan in Thimphu earlier today, greeted by locals from the Bhutanese government, as well as young children and Tibetan monks.
Bhutan is located, so to speak, between China and India. And there is a valley which is crucial to India's defenses and ingress of anyone with wrong intentions into the valleys of India. So in many ways, Bhutan is extremely important as you might call it a buffer state, or as a state which lies between China and India. Bhutan is also important in terms of the message of goodwill that it can send to the neighborhood, that cooperation with India is not a one-way street. It is actually beneficial to both the people.
And now we have, again, live visuals coming in, the meeting of the two Prime Ministers, the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, and the Prime Minister of Bhutan, Tshering Sobge. Remember, Narendra Modi will be meeting both the Bhutanese Prime Minister and Bhutan's King, Jigme Wangchuk, on the first meeting, of course, happening right now. The second meeting will take place later. The Prime Minister is, of course, joined by his Minister of External Affairs, Sushma Swaraj, who you saw in the visuals seated just to his right. He's also joined by the Foreign Secretary, Sujata Singh, the lady in the red sari, and Rajiv Dogra, his National Security Advisor, the man in the black suit who was just in the frame a few moments ago. Now, this visit assumes importance in the view of China's increasing interest in Bhutan. China has indicated that it's keen to establish full diplomatic relations with Thimphu and has seemingly adopted a carrot and stick approach to this. It began armed incursions to the nearly 500-kilometer-long border between the two countries, but has also tried to woo Bhutan with economic packages. Bhutan, of course, is strategically placed between India and China, and India sees it as an important buffer state to Beijing. Now, India has also given some unprecedented importance to Bhutan. Of course, Narendra Modi signaled this with making Bhutan the first country he visited as Prime Minister. Now, ahead of his visit, Mr. Modi said Bhutan was a natural choice for him, and that was thanks to the unique and special relationship between the two countries. As we mentioned earlier, he's accompanied by his External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj, his National Security Advisor Rajiv Dogra, and the Foreign Secretary Sujata Singh. Mr. Modi will meet Bhutan's King Jigme Wangchuk and the Prime Minister Tshering Sobge, the second meeting already underway. He's expected to discuss improving trade relations and hydroelectricity generation, and is also expected to address a joint session of Bhutan's parliament and inaugurate the country's new Supreme Court building, which was built with Indian assistance. Observers say the visit to Bhutan is also a subtle signal to China, which has been trying to intensify its relationship with Thimphu. Tshering Sobge was one of 7 regional leaders invited to Narendra Modi's swearing-in ceremony. Analysts say the decision to make Bhutan his first foreign visit underlines the importance that India attaches with this country.